Welcome everyone to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and give this a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know right when a new story is uploaded. Please enjoy this new series as we continue from the original 4-part Cyrus series. Let's get right into it. About 500 moons have passed since the events my father last described to you. I need to fill you in on what has happened since in our dwelling place. Soon after the battle my father Cyrus won against my uncle Zenek, many humans with outer skins like leaves came and started ending the lives of many forest creatures. My mother and father, along with many of our older males, went to distract them and lead them away, but it didn't go as planned. Some of the animals that were being hunted by the humans were from the Forest of Banishment. They were back to stage another assault against us. I do not know all of the details, but my mother told me the humans had metal weapons that bite, and they made smoke appear with seeds they threw. In all the chaos, mother and father were separated, and she could hear his roars, but then they stopped. After half a light cycle, the humans moved away trying to chase the other animals, and she went back to find father. All that she could find was some fur, the color of his fur, and some blood, but not him. She ran back to get some scout males, and no one was successful in searching for him. My father's body could not be brought back for proper mourning by the territory. I was so devastated. The one I looked up to guide me and help me as I finished growing up was gone. I needed his advice for starting my own family group, but now I will be without him. Several moons later, the older males of the territory met at the meeting tree and decided to honor my father Cyrus' wishes for me to take his place as leader of the territory. I did not feel ready at all, but knew this was the right thing to do. The older males also said that I would need to take a mate soon to lead the females of the territory. I accepted the responsibility. I know my father felt the same way so many moons ago when his father made him leader as well. I just wanted to follow in his path and make him proud. 4 moons after that, I chose Alna, Thadden's daughter, to be my mate. She accepted. Immediately, I had to face issues with the rogue animals in the Forest of Banishment. I had to travel there as many had organized to form their own clan. During my father's time, it was shaping up that many might form alliances, and now that time has come. Alna and I, along with my uncle Danik and another older male, Valk, who was one of my father's trusted leaders, arrived there only to find that humans had built many dwelling places there and destroyed much of the lower half of the Forest of Banishment. So we went north to find the new leader of the banished territory. Along the way, we were stopped by a group of rogue boars. There were several very large ones, and they were very aggressive to us. So we had no choice but to defend ourselves. One of them managed to stab my leg before I ended it against a tree. The wound was deep, but not bad. So Alna wrapped it with leaves and twigs, and we continued on. We finally arrived to the meeting tree of the banished territory, and standing there was Kellen, son of Kelkar, the large rogue bear my father and Alna's father Thadden fought and ended many moons ago. He was not the leader, as we were told the leader was one of our species. It was clear, though, we would not have peace today. He yelled out to me,
"Graynon, your father ended my father. Now we will settle who is alpha in this territory."
He was just as angry as his father was that our species were the keepers of the forest law and the leaders, and the bears were not. There was no time to even talk about the problems. We were ambushed from both sides by many rogue bears and boars. There were only 4 of us, so we all stood back to back and had to battle our way out. Valk was injured first by two bears that broke his leg and slashed his side, but being the powerful fighter he was, he battled on. Danik had leaped up into a tree and ripped off two branches, one in each hand, to defend himself. I told Alna to get to safety, but much like her father Thadden, she refused. She was able to throw large stones at several of the animals and ended them before they could end us. All I felt was anger inside me, because we came for peace and were met with a battle. I yelled for Kellen to fight his own battle if he was such an alpha. He immediately came off the tree stump that he was standing on and ran right for me. He leaped through the air at me, and right as his claws dug into my chest and upper arm, I grabbed his head and swung him to the side. He let go and rolled about one pace. I grabbed my chest in pain. I was injured badly. He got back up and ran back towards me. Danik tossed me a branch for me to defend myself. As Kellen had his mouth open and claws out to attack me again, I hurled the branch like a spear and hit his arm. He still managed to slash my chest and bite right into my shoulder. I hit him with closed fists on each side of his head to knock him loose. He was very powerful. Valk came from behind and hit him across the back with a branch, breaking it on him. He roared in pain and fell sideways. I grabbed him and lifted him up, and with all my strength, I threw him against the tree behind me and ended him. He landed on the ground and slid to my feet. The other bears and the few boars left saw what happened and retreated back into the forest. As I fell backward from my injury, Alna caught me. She and Danik built a small den, and we stayed there as she tended to my wounds. Sadly, Valk and I would not be able to walk home on our own strength. Valk reminded me about what happened between my father Cyrus and my uncle Zinnik. This kind of anger can run deep in more than just the two involved. An old grudge rekindled in Kellen that his father fed led him to take it out on me, even though neither of us were even involved. There was still unanswered questions, though. Who is this new leader in this territory? What does he want as new leader? Could we establish peace among our territories? The next day, Alna drugged me on two trees she tied together, and Danik drugged Valk as we journeyed back to our home territory. The other older male leaders expected we would bring back good news, but we couldn't. Once we arrived, I told them what happened. Valk's mate thanked me for taking care of her mate like my father had done in the past. I had to take time to heal up. I just wonder what my father would have done. Could he have done something different? My mother, Pasha, came in and reminded me that these issues go much farther back than my father Cyrus. My grandfather Yunin was among the first leaders to deal with the uprisings, and I would not be the last. Times were changing for us all, and we had to adapt with them. More humans were destroying our forest territories, and more species than ever were getting angry with each other. I knew I needed to be strong. My mother left, and Alna and I rested in our den as I healed for several moons. One morning, just as the sun was rising, Danik came to our den and woke me up. He said there was bad news. I limped out of the den to find a male deer named Wyan from the cold mountains in the north towards the sunset. He came bearing bad news. He is a scout for the deer leaders and was sent to give me a message. There is an uprising of the moose because rogue wolves have started to dominate their territory, and the wolf leader is no longer enforcing the law of the forest. He said they needed our help because the snow dwellers refused to help them and were actually giving shelter in their territory to the rogue wolves. I told him I would meet with the other males of our territory and will send word to him on what we can do. He came from a far distance to seek our help. There's no way I could turn him away. I knew what my father would do. So I called together all the older males at the meeting tree. One suggested we might consider just letting them work things out, Valk said that coming in full force might separate our species even further. We decided that a delegation needed to go and have many powerful males ready in case things went badly. Word was sent out to all surrounding territories to gather many strong males and meet us here in 3 moons. I told Wyon what we were planning and to alert any strong males from the cold mountains over to the mountains of rain by the large waters to be ready to join. He immediately left us to head back. We began food collecting and making supplies for the journey, as well as training for a possible battle. All I wanted was peace, just like my father wanted. I knew this was a risky move, but I was doing it anyway. I had to be the leader my father Cyrus knew I could be, and here is my chance.